Boat and Oates dream date, fans' fantasy versus real life. What if I told you that the most romantic moment between Boat Yongyut and Oat Pasakorn didn't happen on screen, but in real life? That behind the camera flashes, the fan edits, and the endless shipping hashtags, there was a night, quiet, unplanned, breathtakingly real, that blurred the line between fiction and truth. This is the story of Boat and Oates' dream date, the one fans dreamed of, and the one that actually happened. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. It all began with a single post. A grainy, almost accidental photo, Boat and Oates seated across from each other at a small riverside restaurant in Bangkok. The lighting was warm, almost cinematic, their faces caught in that soft golden glow that seemed too perfect to be real. Within minutes, fans began to speculate. Was this a scene from their upcoming project, or something far more personal? Because to those who have followed Boat and Oates from their early days, through their behind-the-scenes banter, their playful teasing, their unspoken glances, this wasn't just another outing. It was a glimpse into something sacred. But before we dive into the reality of that night, let's rewind. For years, fans have built an entire fantasy world around Boat and Oates. They've written stories, created edits, imagined proposals, candlelit dinners, late-night drives under the Bangkok skyline. In those dreams, the two were always perfect, every word timed, every laugh shared, every silence comfortable. To the fandom, their love story wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. They saw it in the way Boat's eyes softened whenever Oates laughed too hard. They saw it in the way Oates would reach out, without even realizing it, to fix Boat's collar or brush something off his sleeve. But the truth? It was quieter. Slower. More human. The night in question wasn't a grand event. No stylists. No lights. No scripts. Just two people, tired from a long week of filming, slipping out of the noise of celebrity life for a moment of peace. Oates had suggested the spot, a tiny restaurant by the Chao Phraya River. No one would expect them there. They arrived separately, but anyone who saw them that night would have known they were together. The ease between them was unmistakable. They ordered simple food, grilled fish, rice, and cold drinks. For a while, they didn't even talk. Just listened to the water, the faint music from a nearby boat, the hum of a city that never truly sleeps. And then, in that simplicity, something profound happened. Boat leaned forward, quietly asking, "Do you ever think we'll get tired of all this?" Oates looked up, puzzled. "You mean the work?" Boat shook his head. "No. I mean, everything. The attention. The expectations. People wanting us to be more than we are." There was a pause. A long one. The kind that carries meaning words can't hold. Oates finally smiled, that gentle, knowing smile fans have seen 100 times on screen. "Maybe we already are more than they think." It wasn't a confession. It wasn't a denial. It was something in between, a truth wrapped in mystery, a feeling that needed no label. By the time they left, the restaurant had grown quiet. The owner waved them goodbye, probably unaware that he had just hosted one of the most quietly iconic moments in Sea Entertainment fandom history. The next morning, photos leaked. Blurry, unpolished, and raw, just enough to fuel every theory, every headline, every whispered fan discussion. Boat and Oates' secret date? Reality or fanfiction come true? Did they just confirm what we've all known? The internet exploded. Fan edits flooded TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Some turned the moment into slow-motion montages. Others analyzed every detail, the color of Oates' shirt, the time on Boat's watch, even the way they smiled when no one was looking. But here's what most people missed: the beauty of that night wasn't in what might have been romantic. It was in how real it was. Behind every fantasy fans built, behind every dream date they imagined, the truth was more tender, and far more powerful. Because the real Boat and Oates weren't perfect characters written into a love story. They were two friends, two souls navigating fame, pressure, and a world that constantly blurred their personal boundaries. And yet, even in that chaos, they found moments of peace together. That's what fans saw, even if they didn't realize it. That's what the camera, the edits, and the stories could never fully capture. In the weeks that followed, neither Boat nor Oat confirmed or denied the rumors. Oat posted a cryptic message, "Not everything beautiful needs a label." Boat reposted it, with a heart emoji and nothing else. The fandom took that silence as the loudest confession of all. And maybe that's how it was meant to be. Because in a world where love is often defined by public declarations and hashtags, sometimes the quietest moments, the ones without cameras, without filters, without scripts, are the most genuine. So, what was Boat and Oat's dream date? Was it the candlelit fantasy fans imagined, hand-holding, laughter, confessions under the stars? Or was it that quiet riverside dinner, two tired souls finding peace in each other's company? The answer, perhaps, is both. Because fans didn't get it wrong. They simply saw the fairy tale version of a truth that already existed in silence. And Boat and Oat didn't hide it either. They just lived it, gently, quietly, authentically. In the end, Boat and Oat's dream date wasn't about proving anything. It was about showing that sometimes, love doesn't need to be declared to be real. It just needs to be felt. And maybe that's why, to this day, fans still replay that single image, two figures by the river, laughing softly under the night sky, wondering whether they're watching a scene from a show or a glimpse of real life. Because sometimes, in the right light, you can't tell the difference. The fans' fantasy recreated on screen. It started as a rumor. A whisper spreading through online fan forums, the kind of speculation that catches fire before anyone realizes it's true. Did you see the new script leak? They're filming a riverside dinner scene. Wait, isn't that exactly where Boat and Oat were spotted that night? And just like that, the fandom erupted again. Because what had once been real, fleeting, and almost secret, was now being reborn, on camera. A dream date once lived in silence was about to become art. Weeks after that quiet night by the Chow Freya, Boat and Oat reunited on set for a new series. The storyline? Two characters caught between friendship and something deeper. The director called it a modern romance, but fans knew better. The parallels were undeniable. The leaked script pages told of a scene, a dinner by the river, dim lights, laughter interrupted by a question that changes everything. It was uncanny. Too similar to be coincidence. Do you ever think we'll get tired of all this? The same line Boat had once whispered in real life now found its way into dialogue. When the scene finally aired, the internet lost its collective breath. The camera framed them perfectly, Oat's face illuminated by warm lantern light, Boat's expression shifting from teasing to vulnerable. Their eyes met, and time seemed to stop. Every fan watching from their screen could feel it. That invisible current. That shared heartbeat. That sense that this wasn't acting, it was remembering. Because the tenderness was too precise, too honest. The pauses weren't rehearsed. The silences weren't directed. They belonged to Boat and Oat. One fan tweeted, "This isn't a scene. This is them reliving something that actually happened." Another wrote, "If you've ever loved someone quietly, this is what it looks like." Within hours, the clip went viral, over 10 million views, thousands of edits layered with soft music, candlelight, and captions that read, "From fantasy to reality, and back again." Behind the scenes, even the production crew couldn't ignore it. The director later admitted in an interview that the chemistry between the two was so powerful, we didn't need to direct it, we just needed to capture it. And capture it, they did. Every blink, every half-smile, every moment when one looked away only to be pulled back by the other's gaze, it was all there, living and breathing on screen. But what made it even more haunting was the way Boat and Oat played the aftermath of that dinner scene. Their characters walked home, side by side, saying nothing. The camera followed from behind, their shoulders barely touching, their steps perfectly in sync. No music. No dialogue. Just the sound of the city fading into night. It was minimal. Intimate. Devastatingly real. Fans flooded the internet with theories. Had they told the director about that night? Was this their silent way of confirming the rumors? Were we, the audience, witnessing art imitate life, or life revealing itself through art? The truth, as always, was left unspoken. Boat posted a single image from the set, the lanterns glowing by the water, with the caption, "Sometimes stories find their way back to you." Oat commented beneath it with just one word, "Always." That single exchange became a phenomenon. Merch lines printed the words. Edits echoed them like a mantra. Because in those two messages, fans saw everything, the acknowledgement, the emotion, the quiet promise. In the end, Boat and Oat's dream date became more than a story. It became a mirror, reflecting how love, when genuine, transcends screens, scripts, and expectations. Fans had always imagined their dream date as a fantasy, perfect lighting, perfect words, perfect timing. But what they got instead was something far more powerful, imperfection that felt real. A simple dinner. A quiet question. A moment that returned as art, and stayed as legend. And now, when fans rewatch that scene, when the light hits the river just right, when Oat smiles through that fragile silence, when Boat's voice trembles ever so slightly, they know they're witnessing something rare. Not just fiction. Not just performance. But the meeting point of two worlds, where fantasy becomes memory, and memory becomes eternal.